Testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning. So we're going to call the Pontiac Election Commission meeting to order at 10:01 a.m. Roll call.
Prater,
Present.
Gurley,
Present.
Doyle,
Present. Okay. All members are present, so there's no need for authorization to excuse commissioners. Are there any amendments to the agenda? If not, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll offer. I'll second.
Roll call on approval of the agenda.
Prater,
Yes.
Gurley,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
3 yeas.
The agenda has been approved. Now I need a motion to approve the minutes from the July 16th, 2024 Election Commission meeting.
I'll offer. Support.
Roll call.
Prater,
Yes.
Gurley,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
3 yeas.
The minutes from July 16th have been approved. The purpose of this meeting is for the authorization of the mini absentee voter counting boards 1 and 2. So I need a motion to approve the authorization of the mini absentee voter counting boards 1 and 2.
I'll offer. Support.
So now we can have discussion on the mini absentee counting boards. So just for the public's information, Oakland County and the city of Pontiac has entered into a partnership. Actually, we've been partnering with the county since 2020, where they count our absentee ballots for us. But what the county does not do is count any absentee ballots that we receive after 4 p.m. the day before the election, which is that Monday. In this case, it'll be Monday, November 4th, and any that we receive on the day of the election, November 5th. Previously, what we've been doing is we actually have to take those ballots to the precincts, whichever precinct the absentee ballot came from. So if you're a voter in precinct 1, you voted absentee, we have to take that actually to the precinct 1 polling location, and that absentee ballot has to be opened up at the precinct and then ran through the tabulator. But the law was changed, I believe it was 2022, which allows for what are called mini absentee voter counting boards, where actually we would have a separate absentee counting board that would count those ballots, and they will be counted actually in this building here. So as opposed to taking those ballots to the precincts, they will be brought to City Hall, and then they would be counted by our sequestered absentee voter counting boards. So we needed to authorize the creation of 2 mini absentee voter counting boards for the November 5th, 2024 election. Are there any questions, comments?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say, how many individuals does the board consist of, or will the board consist of? How many members will the board consist of?
I'm going to defer to Ms. Holy.
So we will have 2 mini counting boards. Each one of them will have a chair and 3 inspectors, and then there will be a super chair that oversees both of them. So 4 for each, and then 1 extra person.
Thank you. And what is the process of, once all of the absentee ballots have been counted, is there an additional layer of protection to ensure that the individual that has the oversight, has done everything, properly? Are they resealed? So can we just walk through the process of after everything has been counted?
It's treated very much like an in-person polling place. So they will go through the same closing procedures and then go through the receiving board that our in-person precincts do as well. That receiving board is our final check to make sure everything was signed, sealed, and will be delivered properly to the county.
Thank you.
My question would be, Clerk and Chief Assistant Clerk, is where will these many counting boards be housed? Where will they be stationed in the city?
Ideally here in the council chambers.
So on election day, this area will be closed off, and then we would set up tables for them to process the ballots inside of here. And then they basically are sequestered in a sense all day long. We'll provide them with meals throughout the day, and then they would be pretty much counting ballots the entire day.
Okay, can you talk a little bit more about the sequestration of the individuals, and where would they go to the restrooms and those kinds of things, so that the public will know what the sequestration means?
So they would be allowed to use the restrooms. The restrooms located outside of here. In a sense, the AV counting board would be somewhat, in essence, like a precinct. They'll be counting ballots all throughout the day. We will process the ballots first, in a sense, verify signatures in the clerk's office. So what happens is you can return your ballot, absentee ballot that is, either by mail or to one of our drop boxes. We have 4 drop boxes throughout the city that are under 24-hour video surveillance, or you can return it directly to the clerk's office. So then we have to receive the absentee ballot, we have to verify the signature, and that's all done by the clerk's office staff. And then once that's done, then it's matched to the application, then would be brought to the absentee counting board. And then they would open the ballot up, run the ballot, in essence, through the tabulator.
So Commissioner Prater asked about the security as far as making sure that all the ballots are counted and received by the county. How are you ensuring that the security the day of within the room is of what the law requires? And by that I mean somebody going back and out of the room, even to go to the restroom, and then coming back in. how are we making sure that the ballots are not tampered with, even in that process?
The absentee counting board is given a list from the clerk's office of all of the ballots that were returned to us. We update that list as we check the drop boxes throughout the day. But that number of the ballots delivered to the AV counting board must match the number of ballots put through the machine. So we will know if a ballot got lost or anything of that nature, and it is an accountability check line. So the first person matches the name to that list, the next person opens the ballot, the third person removes the ballot, removes the stub, and then the last person puts it through the machine. That's our way to keep the voter's identity concealed, and so that one person isn't just able to do all of those steps.
Okay. Oh, I think that's all I have for now.
Okay. I have a follow-up question. So how will you guys go about advertising, or how are you going to, search for individuals who are wanting to be on the board?
No. Go ahead.
We actually have that pretty much covered. There are a lot of people interested in working a presidential election, and our receiving board for August, a lot of them had experience in AV counting boards, either when the city of Pontiac did it, or I think it's Auburn Hills that they had worked at previously. So we have all but one worker for it, and we do the same style of training as our in-person precincts as for the AV counting board. So that extra person we're looking for, we'll just go through our applications and see if they're interested.
Thank you.
I do have another question. So has that process started as far as when the training will begin, and how many trainings will the AV counting board be required to take?
Training actually started yesterday for the election. We have a mandatory meeting on Saturday for everyone involved in the election, and the AV counting board training takes place the entire third week of September. They have 1 2-hour training to attend, and it will be set up as a mock AV counting board. So we'll have fake ballots for them to open, sort through, cross off on the list. It'll basically be what their day looks like on election day.
So overall, how many hours of training would you say they will be engaged in?
Hands-on training, I'd say roughly 2 hours. Information-based training, another hour.
And then, just on that point, if a worker wants to receive additional training, they can attend another training session, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Is training paid for, or is it not?
It is $25 for mandatory trainings. If someone had decided they wanted to come to all 5 days of that AV counting board training, they would only be paid for 1.
Thanks for that. And in the event the board is established, you have 2 boards, and you have your individuals that are on the board already, like I said, established. In the event something happens and one member drops off or a couple member drops off, do you guys have substitutes or someone acting as a backup?
We always have on-call workers at City Hall from 6 a.m. to roughly 9 a.m. to fill in those spots in precinct and AV counting board now.
What if they had not gone through the training, the people that are the backups?
They would be trained ahead of time. The AV counting board will not start until 9 a.m., so that'll give us some leeway from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. to have them do the same sort of mock training with the AV counting board.
Thank you.
And then as far as going to the restroom or anything like that, it would only be like one person at a time allowed. So therefore, it's not like it's only one person having access to ballots or anything. So it's multiple people in the room at all times.
Okay. So are there any other restraints on the second floor, which is where the voting will take place, for other employees to be aware of?
So nobody except for clerk's office staff or the AV counting board would be allowed access to this particular room on election day. Other than that, no. For the most part, there won't be any voting occurring in this building, with the exception of, I think if you register, you can register on election day. And if you register on election day, you can actually vote in the clerk's office. So that's the only voting that could possibly occur in this building on election day. All other voting would have to occur at the precincts.
Okay. Oh, Cameron has a...
I do want to mention that the AV counting board is a public process, so there could be challengers or poll watchers in here as well, and their duty is to be sent from either one of the parties or the state to ensure that nothing is going wrong. So they are allowed to be here in the room to really just watch and take note and ensure that everything is being done properly.
Are those individuals, the challengers, are they sequestered all day, or can they go and come as they wish?
They can go, but they wouldn't be able to come back. So they don't have to be here for 12 hours, but when they decide, aside from using the restroom, that they're going to go out to their car and eat lunch, that would be the end of their time in the counting board.
Another question, follow up to that. So who's responsible, or who's tasked with ensuring that, in that instance, the person, if they try to re-enter, doesn't, gain access?
That will be our super chair. Our challengers within Oakland County have to be registered with the county, and they must carry credentials, so those would be checked.
Are there any other restrictions on the day of election in this room that the public should be aware of?
Similarly with the challengers, this is a public process, so if a member of the public wanted to come and watch, they could, but when they left, that would be it.
And does the city have plans to have this mini counting board for the absentee ballots continue, or is it just for this presidential election?
That's still possibly up in the air. We may continue with this process. I just want to make sure for this particular election, due to the heightened security and all that, that we weren't necessarily taking ballots to the precincts to be counted. Any other questions? Okay. I think this was all useful information to explain the process to the public. So our meeting is being televised and will be available for anybody they can watch it now or can view the video later. So we've had a move in support for the approval. So if there are no other questions, roll call.
Prater,
Yes.
Gurley,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
3 yeas.
Okay. So we have authorized the mini AV counting boards 1 and 2 for the November 5th, 2024 general election. Next on the agenda is public comment. I don't see any members of the public present. So then I just need a motion. Oh,
I do have another question. So as we know, there was a amendment to the charter, and can you speak about how that has affected the Election Commission?
sure. So prior to the City of Pontiac voted on August 6th for a new charter that was approved by the voters. The charter went into effect 27th. It's either the 27th or the 28th of August. And in the new charter, the previous charter, the Pontiac Election Commission consisted of the clerk, the treasurer, and the city attorney. It was a 3-member body. In the new charter, the charter consists of the clerk, who serves as the chairperson of the election commission, the city treasurer, an employee appointed by the mayor, and in that case, it's Attorney Gurley, who has been appointed by Mayor Grimo. And then city council gets to appoint 2 residents. So we now are a 5-member body. The city council has not made the appointment of the 2 residents, but we could meet today because since we're a 5-member body, 3 members constitutes a quorum. So we're awaiting the city council to make its appointment of 2 residents of the city to serve on the election commission. And that should be done prior to our next meeting because the election commission will have to meet prior to the election. Ms. Hoadley mentioned it somewhat, but this commission has to approve the appointment of inspectors for the election that will serve at the precincts. And we also have to conduct the public accuracy test as well, too, prior to the election.
Thank you.
So if there's nothing else, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll offer.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Prater,
Yes.
Gurley,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
3 yeas.
So this meeting is adjourned at 10:20 a.m.